The desert burns you alive. The jungle tries to eat you. But the poles, they do something worse. They freeze you to death, slowly, quietly, relentlessly. The Arctic and Antarctic are Earth's deadliest freezers. Step outside unprepared, and your eyelashes ice over, your breath turns into crystals, and your skin freezes in minutes. Here, survival isn't about finding food, it's about not becoming it. The Arctic is the top of the world, a frozen ocean surrounded by land. The Antarctic is the bottom, a frozen continent bigger than Europe, covered by ice more than 2 miles thick. Together, they are the coldest, driest, and windiest places on Earth. And yet, life has found a way. Let's start with the animals, because these places are basically nature's weirdest talent show. Polar bears, the Arctic's apex predators, roam for hundreds of miles across sea ice, hunting seals with the patience of assassins. They can smell prey a mile away, even under snow. Cute? Sure, from a distance. Up close? Think murder carpet with fur. Meanwhile, penguins rule the Antarctic. Emperor penguins huddle by the thousands through blizzards, surviving temperatures that would kill most animals instantly. They rotate, taking turns on the freezing outer edge. It's the world's harshest group cuddle. Then there's the Arctic fox, with fur so thick it doesn't feel cold until it drops below 70 Celsius. The Weddell seal can dive for over an hour beneath Antarctic ice, finding breathing holes it memorized months earlier. The muskox grows wool so warm it's prized as the softest, rarest fiber in the world. And then there's the tardigrade, a microscopic creature that can literally freeze solid and come back to life. If the Earth ended tomorrow, tardigrades would probably file for new mortgages. But survival here isn't just about animals. Humans have tried, and mostly failed. The polar regions are littered with the wrecks of expeditions. In the 1840s, Britain's Franklin expedition set out to chart the Arctic. Both ships got trapped in ice. Crews starved, froze, and eventually resorted to cannibalism. It took over a century to find their remains. In Antarctica, Ernest Shackleton's 1914 expedition ended in disaster when his ship, the Endurance, was crushed by ice. Yet somehow Shackleton led every one of his men to safety across hundreds of miles of frozen wasteland. It remains one of the greatest survival stories ever told. The science of cold is merciless. In temperatures below 40, exposed skin freezes in under 5 minutes. Blood vessels constrict, extremities lose circulation, frostbite sets in. Sweat becomes a death sentence, soaking clothes and freezing against the skin. And then there's hypothermia, where your body temperature drops so low that your brain stops working right. Victims start to feel hot, stripping off clothes as they freeze. It's called paradoxical undressing, and it's as grim as it sounds. And let's not forget the wind. Antarctica holds the record for the fastest surface winds on Earth, katabatic winds blasting at over 200 miles per hour. Imagine hurricane-force winds, but colder than liquid nitrogen. The poles aren't just cold, they're actively hostile. Yet, people do live here. Indigenous cultures like the Inuit, Sami, and Chukchi mastered Arctic survival long before modern explorers blundered in. They built igloos that trap heat so efficiently they can raise the inside temperature by 40 degrees. They crafted clothing from fur and skins that outperforms modern fabrics. They hunted seals, whales, and caribou, using every part of the animal to survive. While outsiders froze and failed, indigenous knowledge proved that even the Arctic could be home. The Antarctic, however, has no native human population. Only scientists live there, rotating through research stations. They study everything from penguin colonies to climate change to space itself. The Antarctic is so alien it's used to train astronauts for Mars. If you can survive the South Pole, space doesn't seem quite as bad. And speaking of climate change, the frozen extremes are warming faster than anywhere else on Earth. The Arctic is melting. Sea ice shrinks every year, threatening polar bears and reshaping ecosystems. The Antarctic ice sheet is cracking, sending glaciers the size of cities into the ocean. If it collapses fully, sea levels worldwide could rise by dozens of feet. Cities like Miami, London, and Shanghai would drown. The frozen world isn't just a distant wilderness, it's the thermostat for the entire planet. But even in their brutality, the poles hold beauty. The northern lights shimmer across Arctic skies, curtains of green and purple dancing in silence. The southern lights mirror them in Antarctica. Glaciers glow blue like frozen cathedrals. Icebergs drift like floating castles. And in the silence, with nothing but wind and snow, you realize these places are both deadly and sacred. The Arctic and Antarctic are not just ends of the Earth. They are reminders that life can endure almost anything, that humans can push further than we thought possible, and that beauty often hides in the harshest places. But they are also warnings. Change them too much, and the entire planet pays the price. So the next time you complain about winter being too cold, remember, there are places where winter never ends. Places where the ground is ice, the air is knives, and survival is a full-time job. That's the frozen extreme of our world. And if you thought the poles were brutal, wait until you meet the giants sleeping beneath our feet, supervolcanoes. When they wake, they don't just change landscapes, they change civilizations. Don't miss it.